Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Curse of Oak Island. The team takes a surprise fifth shot at finding treasure at the Money Pit. This week on The Curse of Oak Island, Rick Lagina shocked everyone by announcing there would be a fifth caisson placed at the Money Pit in yet another Season 9 attempt to locate the Chapel Vault. This announcement came on the back of a crushing disappointment when the fourth shaft, DMT2, ended in failure. This was a super exciting episode with the drama ramped up to the max. It really felt like the guys were getting closer and closer to the treasure with each hammer grab, and that's why it was so frustrating when it suddenly ended in disappointment. However, this disappointment did not last long. The episode began with Gary Drayton's usual chirpy attitude. "This is the day we find the treasure," he said for the umpteenth time this season, but any cynicism started melting away once the drilling reached the 150-foot mark. The Chapel Vault is thought to be at the 153-feet point, and as they neared that mark, they suddenly began finding really old axe-cut wood. They also came across clay, a substance William Chappell's men came across in 1931, just before they pierced the vault. Oak Island's Shaft 4 ended empty-handed at the Money Pit. The excitement started building with each scoop of dirt as the guys prepared to finally hit the vault. Suddenly, the drill hit a void and began rapidly descending. Then, worse news, the drill struck bedrock, meaning it was game over. Viewers had been told this would be the last shot at the Money Pit for this season. However, Rick Lagina had a nice, albeit somewhat shocking, surprise for everyone. The drilling had proceeded faster than expected, and the guys still have a few more weeks on the island before winter sets in, which means they have the time and the money for a fifth shaft and another go at finding the vault. All that was left was to decide where to put shaft number 5. It was promptly agreed without any argument that the new dig location would be just 1 foot to the north of the old C1 shaft and almost directly above the old B4 borehole. The honor of naming the new shaft fell to Scott Barlow, who christened it B4C after the B4 borehole with an added C for caisson. Marty Lagina joked, "So it's the hole we dug just before we found the treasure." New fifth shaft in area of Money Pit with high level of gold and silver. As Jack Begley detailed the reasons why the C1 spot would make a suitable location, viewers may be forgiven for wondering why on earth they hadn't placed a caisson there before now. This area of the Money Pit saw the highest concentration of gold and silver in the underground water following Dr. Spooner's tests. They've also found pieces of metal with fragments of gold, and they've uncovered wood dating all the way back to the 15th century. It's likely the Fellowship was put off this location because they have already dug 2 10-diameter shafts on either side of C1. TF1 and EC1 were dug in 2017 and 2020, respectively, and frankly, they spectacularly failed to reveal any treasure-laden vaults. However, there's still plenty of unexplored earth down there, so fingers crossed. The new shaft will be placed just a few feet to the north of C1 and the 2 other old shafts. Unless there are some really extraordinary circumstances, this will definitely be the guys' final shot this season at finding the Money Pit. The Fellowship of the Dig have once again shown off their resilience and never-say-die attitude. They are absolutely determined to find the Oak Island treasure and are prepared to push themselves to the limits to get it. The salty breeze swept over Oak Island, whispering secrets of the past as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of crimson and gold. The Lagina brothers, Rick and Marty, stood at the edge of the famed Money Pit, their gazes fixed on the ground that had been the source of their relentless quest for over a decade. This season promised something different, a surprise fifth shot at the treasure that had eluded them for so long. "Can you feel it, Rick?" Marty said, his voice tinged with excitement. "There's something in the air this time. I can almost taste it." Rick chuckled, though his heart raced with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. "You know what they say, hope is a dangerous thing on this island." He glanced around, his eyes landing on the rest of the team, gathered like moths to a flame, all eager for what lay ahead. Gary Drayton, the treasure hunter with a knack for metal detection, was already scouring the area with his detector, the machine buzzing with potential. Craig Tester and the rest of the crew were unpacking their gear, readying themselves for what could be a historic moment. Each member of the team was a piece of the puzzle, and they all felt the weight of their mission. "Today we're not just digging for gold," Rick addressed the team, his voice steady and commanding. "We're digging for history. Whatever we find, it will tell us more about this island and the people who hid their secrets here." As they began the excavation, the crew worked in unison, their movements choreographed by years of experience and camaraderie. The first few feet of soil were unearthed, and soon, the familiar sound of metal clinking against metal echoed through the air. Gary stopped, his detector beeping insistently. "Here, we've got something," he shouted, his eyes alight with enthusiasm. The crew gathered around as Gary carefully scraped away the dirt, revealing a small, weathered box. Heartbeats quickened. Could this be it? Could this be the fabled treasure? With shaky hands, they pried open the lid, revealing a collection of artifacts: a tarnished gold ring, some small coins, and a fragment of what appeared to be a map. The air crackled with excitement as they examined the findings. "This could be part of a greater treasure," Craig said, his brow furrowed in concentration as he studied the map fragment. "If we can match this to known locations, it might lead us to something much bigger." The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the pit as the team pressed on, driven by a newfound determination. As the day faded, they gathered around a makeshift table set up on the island, the artifacts laid out like pieces of a forgotten puzzle. "Let's see what we can make of this map," Marty suggested, pulling out a notebook. "If this is indeed part of a treasure map, it could guide us to where we need to dig next." As they scrutinized the fragment, Rick's mind raced with possibilities. If this is authentic, it might indicate not just treasure, but a hidden narrative about the people who buried it. We're talking about pirates, maybe even Freemasons. The atmosphere shifted, the team drawing closer, united by the thrill of discovery. It wasn't just about the riches anymore, it was about unraveling the island's long-buried secrets. Night fell, and they decided to pause for a moment, the excitement palpable in the cool air. The stars shimmered overhead, vast and ancient, much like the legends that surrounded the island. Over a small campfire, they shared stories of previous attempts and the folklore of Oak Island, each tale a thread woven into the fabric of their quest. "I still can't believe that it was once thought to be a money pit for pirates," Gary mused, poking the fire with a stick. "It's fascinating to think about what this place has seen over the centuries." Rick nodded, his mind drifting back to the countless legends that had sparked their journey. And what if those stories hold more truth than we realize? What if we're standing on the brink of uncovering something monumental? Fueled by camaraderie and the warmth of the fire, they felt invincible, as if they could take on the world. Yet beneath that bravado, a sense of foreboding lingered. The island had a reputation, a curse that had claimed the lives and fortunes of many who sought its treasures. The next day, with renewed energy, they set out to follow the clues from the map fragment. It led them to an area previously unexplored. The trees around them seemed to lean in, guarding their secrets as they trudged deeper into the woods. "This could be it," Marty whispered, his breath visible in the cool morning air. "This is where we might find what we've been looking for." They reached a clearing where the ground looked disturbed, an indication that others had been there before. Heart pounding, Rick signaled to the team to set up their equipment. Each clank of metal and thud of shovels felt like a countdown to revelation. As they dug deeper, they struck something hard, and the unmistakable sound of metal resonated through the ground. The team froze, glancing at each other, a shared thrill coursing through them. "Let's see what we've got," Rick urged, his voice steady yet full of anticipation. With cautious excitement, they unearthed a rusted iron chest, its lock long corroded but still intact. As they pried it open, the hinges creaked in protest, revealing a trove of gold coins, intricately designed jewelry, and a parchment that seemed to pulse with history. "Look at this," Gary exclaimed, pulling out a necklace adorned with sapphires. "This isn't just treasure, this is a piece of art."